Welcome to Trending with Andrea Tantaros. This week, should we ban the word bossy? Well, the Girl Scouts of America have teamed up with Beyoncé and a number of other celebrities and former political figures like Condoleezza Rice to start a campaign that would ban that word. Here's the latest PSA. Take a look.
When I was growing up, I was called bossy.
I think the word bossy is just a squasher.
Being labeled something matters.
By middle school,
girls are less interested in leadership than boys.
And that's because they worry about being called bossy.
All right, so there's a little clip of this. Joining me now, Kelly Parisi. She's head of communications at Girl Scouts of the USA. Kelly, thanks so much for joining me on Trending.
Thank you for having me. Andrea.
Okay, so this is a topic that is dominating the internet this week. A lot of people in favor of it. They like this campaign. Others saying, why ban a word? So why did the Girl Scouts get on board with this Ban Bossy, the word campaign?
So Sheryl Sandberg, who started Lean In Foundation, reached out to us with this campaign. And as the premier girls leadership organization for 102 years, actually today is our 102nd
Congratulations.
birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. We very much aligned with our mission. We are building girls of courage, confidence, and character every day. And one thing that we know is that by middle school, girls are opting out of leadership. And it's because they're called, when they're leading, they're called words like bossy, that they associate such negative words and connotations with, that they're opting out of leadership.
So I think that this is, from my perspective, I think it's silly anytime you're banning a word. Like, call me a free speech hero. I think it's silly. I do see why it's an important debate because there are more women getting into leadership roles, making more money than ever, achieving positions of power, and maybe they are having this conflict in the workplace, of course. But I always thought bossy was a good thing. I was called bossy when I was little, and some people will say, well, look at you. What's so bad about being called bossy? And if you have a hard time being called bossy, maybe you shouldn't be in charge.
Well, I was called bossy as well, as was Sheryl Sandberg and former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, who is launching this campaign with us. But what we know is manipulative, power hungry, narcissistic. Those are the words that girls associate with the word bossy. And when they are called bossy, a third of girls opt out of leadership. So while we are exceptions, that we continued our leadership journey and didn't let those words hurt us. But words matter, and girls are listening, and they're internalizing these messages that we send them. So we want to be very intentional about what we call them when they're leading. So when they're leading, we call them a leader instead of bossy, which they associate with such negative words.
Okay. A lot of those adjectives you probably, and some people would say, and I would say, maybe referred to Hillary Clinton, power hungry. What's wrong with that? I mean, people like Sheryl Sandberg, Condoleezza Rice, all of these actresses that you cited, they were called bossy and they achieved success in spite of it. Shouldn't the message be, who cares? Keep going, girls?
Well, you pretty much said it. In spite of it, they are exceptions. But what we know is that we're 50% of the population, but we are not 50% of the leadership roles in this country. And girls tell us, I work with girls every day, and they talk about what it means to be called bossy. And girls are opting out because they don't want to be associated with things like power hungry, arrogant, narcissistic. So they simply put their hands down in class. They stop organizing their friends on the playground. They stop talking. And we really want to change that debate. And it's just such a simple thing we can do if, as parents and educators, anyone who cares about girls stops using the word bossy and replaces it with leader, girls can get a different message.
What about this message? So Beyoncé is on this campaign, and in some of her lyrics, but mainly her husband's lyrics, she uses it, and he uses another B word. B-I-T-C-H, I won't actually say the word, to refer to women. Do you think Beyoncé was the right one to pair this campaign with, considering her husband refers to women as hoe and slut and all these other things, which I think are far more derogative maybe than bossy?
We have many powerful people adding their voice to this campaign, and what they are all in support of and standing up for is they believe in girls' leadership, and they want to use their voice to send a powerful message to girls that let's not call them bossy. And that's what this campaign is really about. How do we replace that word from our vernacular and put it with much more positive words that girls will hear? We're talking about 8, 9-year-old girls, and they'll hear so much more positively.
But Beyonce
like
said,
leader.
call me the boss. Don't call me bossy. So you want a bunch of little Girl Scouts, and I'm thinking of my niece's age, walking around to their parents going, I'm the boss. Is that the message?
We have over 2 million
Oh, no.
cookie bosses out there. We encourage, boss is not considered a bad word with girls. Our Girl Scouts Research Institute actually did research, and bossy really was flagged with all of these negative, aggressive, narcissistic, but people think it's a good thing to be a boss. And the way girls want to lead is actually so different. They're of the lift all boats. They believe in teamwork, collaboration, working with each other. So a label like bossy really impacts them in a very powerful way.
Guys can be called bossy, just it begins with another word that begins with a D. So I think that guys get it too. I'm pretty comfortable being called bossy. I don't think Beyonce was probably the right person that I would have chosen for this based on the lyrics that goes on in music. I think there's other words that are far worse. But Kelly, we so appreciate the work that you're doing at the Girl Scouts, and those cookies are good. I just can't eat too many. Happy
Everything in moderation.
Happy 102nd birthday, Kelly
Thank you
Parisi
so
from
much.
Girl Scouts USA. Thank you so much. What do you think this week on Trending? Tweet me or go to foxnews.com/the5 to weigh in your thoughts on banning bossy.